Hello, hello. This is G. We are back with part two. Have a feeling this might be a very long, exceptionally long series, which is fine. It has seemed to struck a chord with many people, and that's wonderful. So, thank you for everybody for all the feedback with the prenatal eclipses, which means eclipses that occurred before you were actually born. So, when you print up your birth chart, you're not going to see those there. I wanted to clarify that because I think it's confusing. Let's just be honest. It can be confusing. So when someone says, I've got my chart, but I can't find my prenatal eclipse, that's because your chart is the moment of your birth. Pre would be before you were born. Prenatal, birth, natal, the time of your birth. Okay. So that piece I wanted to clarify in the beginning of this part too. And I also want to say, because I'm going to do a little bit more reading here, take this information and understand it is not the end all be all. It is an addition to what you've already learned and what you will continue to learn. Okay. So just keep that in mind. It's great to have it. It's important. It is. But just also keep in mind that a lot of the information came through their guided meditation. Okay. So, that's a piece of the information I think you should know. Not that it's wrong, but you take from it what resonates within you. Okay. And sometimes it might take a little bit of work to understand what that really means for each person, like when something resonates. Time gives you those clues. Okay. The other thing I want to say is when we talk about things that resonate, when you have an extremely strong feeling, and that could be yay or nay. When you have an extremely strong feeling, both yay, this is me, or oh hell no, that's so wrong. If it's a strong feeling, it means there is something there. Okay. Because I've had those experiences myself and with other people and going through things. And then it was like sometimes many years later, they're like, that shit was right. Because many times it's stuff we don't want to hear. We don't want to face. We don't want to do. We don't want to be a part of it. And so we immediately reject it. But when you have that strong feeling, you got to kind of ask yourself, why am I having such a strong reaction to this? What's the strong feeling about? Right. So just keep that in mind. And that's just understanding that is how you can navigate whether something is true for you. And you could apply that to everything in life, okay? But especially when you're going over the writings and I'm reading from something that was through a meditation where a person received the information, doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? It just means that it's here for those who gravitate towards it. All right? So this part is going to be talking about your solar eclipse and the meaning of that without going into the sign just yet. We will do that. Like I said, this series is going to be pretty lengthy. Okay, I'm rambling. It's 4 minutes already. Let's get on with it. Solar eclipse, your responsibility to share. So whatever you found out to be your prenatal solar eclipse, it is your responsibility to share. I'm going to stop right here for a second before I even get into the nitty gritties, because this is bringing up a comment on the channel, which is how this all began actually. But there was another comment since then under the video. And if you don't know what video I'm talking about, it's labeled as like past lives and reincarnation and eclipses and Jupiter. And what does this all have to do with anything? And yeah, it's kind of fascinating because it's pulling up a lot of stuff. Because the Jupiter's in Taurus, and Taurus is about love and self-love, and eclipse is coming through in Taurus, blah, blah, blah. So this video or this comment, really a comment, not so much a question, says, oh, thank you, G. This was an awesome video. Thank you. You know who you are. And they are quoting some information they found, which is why I want to share this with you guys, because I really think to really understand what's more meaning and depth and what resonates for you or what doesn't is to listen to what's presented here, but then also go to other sources. Never just listen and latch onto one source. Okay. I mean, that's just smart, right? So this person says, in quotes, normally you have one lunar and one solar prenatal eclipse, right? By doing this part is where it gets confusing. By doing a reverse birthday calendar and then cross-referencing the solar and lunar eclipse tables from Cafe Astrology, I found out I have 2 lunar and 2 solar prenatal eclipses. Okay. So, that's a lot to unpack right there, right? That's a lot to unpack. The reverse birth date calculator and then cross-referencing the solar and lunar eclipse tables. Okay, so for the solar and lunar eclipse tables, that's pretty simple, right? I have Cafe Astrology is a good website. You can go there. It's a free website. A lot of folks know about it. So I'm sharing this because I think this is a good resource, another good place to go to for some solid information if you want to know more and if you have the time to go cross-referencing and doing all that, and to have a more well-rounded plethora of information around you. Okay. So don't ask me about the reverse birth date calculator. I'm just sharing it because that's what's in the quote. And I'm saying, please don't ask me about it because I know nothing about it. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not drawn to it. It's not my thing. And I stick to just like where I'm really truly guided. And so just so that we're clear on that. So with that all said, this brings us back to the solar and lunar eclipse. Okay. And the meaning. And so we'll start with the solar. What it is my responsibility. Ooh, sounds very serious. Saturn like responsibility to share, because the sun is sharing. It's how you radiate and express. Think about that. Share the sun, right? And think about the sun as the sign of the ruler for Leo energy. Leo energy is creating, but it is all about, uniquely creating and expressing. We radiate, our light beams radiate out. So whether it's by word or color or our hair or the way we dress or by the way we talk and communicate or sing or whatever, however you communicate, some have to use their hands, some use their hands while they're talking, some do art, right? There's a lot of different ways to communicate. So some are actors, right? They like to give lengthy speeches or whatever. Sun, responsibility to share. Solar eclipse is the sun. Okay, prenatal. The sign of your solar eclipse, the sign of your solar eclipse. And so when this author is referencing your solar eclipse, that is the eclipse that was immediately before your birth, the most recent eclipse closest to your birth. If you have a hard time finding that, that's why I recommend Cafe Astrology. They have the chart right on there. You could also comment to me below this video and I can help you out with that as well. I also have that same chart in my possession. And for those of you who are familiar with an ephemeris, you could figure that out on your own, right? So there's lots of different avenues of here. And so I want to make sure we're all working together so that nobody's left out. The sign of your solar eclipse determines what your responsibility is to the collective whole. So as an example, let's say that I had a prenatal solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. Right? So as that example, that would be my sign for my solar eclipse. And my sign, Aries, determines what it is my responsibility to the collective whole. What is my responsibility to collective whole? And think of all the Aries keywords, like jot them down. Like that's what I would do. I would start writing them all down, right? What am I supposed to be doing? Shit, this is Aries stuff. Write all my Aries keywords down. So what is the sign that your prenatal solar eclipse was in? Start there, okay? And then once you have that, start jotting down those keywords. This is the energy that you have promised to share with others. It is a gift that the universe gave you so you could teach others, thus raising and balancing the consciousness of humankind. Use it wisely, for by freely sharing your gift, you ease the burden of your own lessons. And let me add this little piece after this, because when it comes to sharing, we all start to get all preachy. I know, I'm totally guilty of this. But the danger of the preachiness is, don't cast your pearls among swine. If people don't want to hear what you have to say, don't get frustrated or whatever, Aries. Don't get discouraged. Just understand there will be people that will be drawn to that which you have to share because this was written. This is in the stars. So the way this author puts it, you can choose to share your gift in a positive or a negative way. You can go about your life generously sharing with your fellow beings, or you can teach them what not to do by having such a negative trait in your behavior and personality that those around you learn what to avoid. If you do choose to teach your lessons in a negative manner, you are creating an imbalance within your own life, and it makes learning your life lessons a bit more difficult than is necessary. All right, so I just wanted to add that part on when we're talking about teaching, right? Now, the next part is the lunar eclipse, the lessons you need to learn. The lunar eclipse literally says that, the lessons you need to learn. The sign of your lunar eclipse, again, I'll use myself as an example. Let's pretend that my lunar eclipse right before my birth was in the sign of Libra. So this means I'm jotting down the Libra keywords. The sign of your lunar eclipse indicates those qualities you need to integrate for personal balance. Interesting, personal balance. And I said the sign of Libra. Balance, right? The lessons you have chosen to learn in this lifetime. So the sign of your lunar eclipse indicates those qualities you need to integrate for personal balance, the lessons you have chosen to learn in this lifetime. You are not judged by how you undertake this journey, for it is you who decided to begin this quest. This is a personal, private destiny. It is the lesson that your soul wants to integrate into its evolutionary pattern. So you see, the solar thing is truly about the collective. It's truly about a universal gift where you were endowed with knowledge. You follow? The way this author puts it, it was an agreement between you and the universe, or however you want to put it. If you don't like the word universe, the divine, God, whatever, creator, whatever word fits there for you. It was like there was this pact made, and that was the solar eclipse, which is why the word your responsibility to share, right? But the lunar, this is definitely more about the soul's goal for this lifetime. Okay. So let's not get confused with the north and the south node, right? I'm just going to say that and then not talk anything further, take them out of this picture. Even though there are similarities, this is separate because this was before your birth, right? And it's lunar, soul, it's the past, it's the history, reincarnation, past lives. Now you understand, right? I'll link the first video below so you catch up to speed on this. So, lunar, you are not judged by how you undertake this journey, for it is you who decided to begin the quest. This is a personal destiny. It is the lesson that your soul wants to integrate into its evolutionary pattern. Okay. So I will do another video and we're going to go over this author's understanding of ways of expressing. There is a unconscious expression and a conscious expression. Now we're getting into the deep shit, the nitty gritty. A conscious expression and an unconscious expression. We'll cover that in part 2, even though that would be technically part 3. Either way, you know what I mean. I'll see you in the next video. If you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.